Hey YouTube. Okay, I'm back and I want to talk about plasma. Everyone excited? So I want to start by saying that, as observers of this world, we're constantly being talked out of our observations. Like you can go out and observe all kinds of things, and science or educational stuff is going to tell you, well, yeah, it looks like that. But it's actually like this, and here's a detailed math formula that proves it, that nobody can do but 3 people in the world or something like that. So you're constantly being talked out of your observations. And this really makes it easy for them to pull the wool over our eyes on every imaginable subject. And they're always taking the truth, and because it has to be presented with some truth, or else you'll just automatically know it's a lie. You can smell that and sniff that out so quick and fast. But, if the truth is in there, all they need to do is make it a little bit of a lie or turn it upside down or backwards. And you won't know. You won't know heads from tails. You won't be able to figure it out because the truth is there. So you see the truth. What part of it is a lie? What part of it is a lie? So I do believe that our observational abilities are diminished here, and they're really essential. We really need to start trusting what that is for us, and giving it more credence. Okay, so I want to talk about the plasma event and what is being said all over YouTube, especially by old what's his nut. And if you don't know who I mean by old what's his nut, then that's all right. We'll just call him old what's his nut, or who's or what. Or I don't know. I might refer to him with several different nicknames because he may come up today in this. Because everyone is saying, all this stuff about mud floods and the plasma event, and the description of the floods and the mud coming in and moving from one epoch to another, and that there's these changeover events. Okay, all of that is true. And I believe in the 1790s was the right around there were the last ones that happened. And I have a few reasons why I think it's the 1790s, but I don't really want to go into that stuff because everybody's already covering all of that. I do believe that's true. I do believe we had mud floods then. I do believe we had a reset. I do believe that is when the Watchers came in and our blue sky world, which they have every right to do, to come in and eat the dead cell. That's their job. I talked about that in my last blood type video today. So all the information that they're giving you there is 100% true. 100%. Yep, that's what happened. Then it does happen. And in these blue worlds, when the floods come in and the floods happen, that is when we take up records and writing things down and trying to keep track of what's happening, because we have to use language, we have to eat here, we have to do everything differently. So we keep records in the blue worlds. And here's the lie, you guys. Here's what they're not telling you. That is a red sky to blue sky event. That is a red sky to blue sky event. Period. That is baptism by water, is what that is. And it is not what is about to happen. There will be a plasma event that is coming. And that's not how it goes down. It is baptism by fire is what is coming next. And this is referenced in the Bible. I wrote down the most relevant one, and you guys all know it. And just to preface before I read the quote, the Bible is an altered document, rewritten, and all kinds of stuff are inserted into it, like gender stuff and so forth. But originally they were bloodline stories, flood stories. They're flood stories about us going into a blue world. That's what they are. So anyway, the quote is, "His winnowing fork in his hand, and he will clear his threshing floor and gather his wheat into the barn, but the chaff he will burn with unquenchable fire." So we all know that there is baptism by water and that there's baptism by fire. So in the Bible too, there's the Genesis, right? In the beginning. Okay, in the beginning, God That's when the gods come in. This is gods. This is who they are. Okay. Created the heaven and the earth. You know, the sun, the moon, the lights, the stars. And it was good. It was good. It was good. Yeah, it is great for them. That's their feast. That's when they come in. That's when they get their opportunity to clean this off and clear it out. And that's the baptism by water. So all of the Bible stuff is red world to blue. That's what it is. You know, and like Who's or What's trying to sell that event as the event that's going to happen again and what's coming. And I'm going to show you how incredibly, like, all you need to do is observe a little bit and think about it, how that's completely and totally not what's going to happen. Right? So I'm going to try to, I always try to use props and stuff with you guys. So, you know, we've got our little cell here, right? We got our focal point of light, that sun that moves around. And so part of this is the sun moves, right, south more in the winter. It hits this apex where it's going to switch directions, right? And it's going to come from underneath. And I'm actually going to use something that looks more like a donut, right? And the light's going to, because this is our, this is our cell. You know, we have the round-shaped cell, but in the center we have our donut ring of matter, right? Flat, hollow, concave, spherical earth. Don't ever listen to just one of those theories. They're all true. So the light comes up from underneath now. So what's going to happen when this event happens? It's like this. It's going to slide down the cell, and it's like going to light a wick, like a candle. That wick is going to light, and the light is going to come up from underneath, and you have your baptism by fire. Okay, this is going to be baptism by fire. This isn't going to be a mud flood. You know, they say like, oh, the plasma is going to come in, right? The dome is going to crack and break, and the plasma is going to strike everywhere, and the floods are going to happen, and the conflagration fires, and all these details about how it's going to go down. That's how it went down. That is not what's coming. And that's not what would happen if the light switched directions and was coming from underneath. The plasma wouldn't be coming in and striking the donut. And the plasma, side effect of plasma is water. This is where you get the floods that come in because the plasma is coming down and in, and it creates all this water, right? So with and I say the wick getting lit because I feel like that's a relevant like thing to feel into, that wick lights, and it lights a fire that boom is going to come up from underneath. So there's going to be no dome breaking. There's going to be no lightning strikes and stuff like that. That's all about the gods and the blue world and the eating of the cell, and that is all polarized and opposite information of what is coming. What is coming is fire. Baptism by fire. Okay? And this is biological. This is how it goes down. So for the cell to go from its death cycle and go back into its growth cycle, it has to be lit on fire, because both of these events are cleansing events. The mud floods, you know, and the land moving and flipping over clears the growth cell state. And plus they come in and they mine it and log it and remove all of their, take it, metal gods and all that shit. So the other way to cleanse something is by fire. Now, I'm a gardener, I'm a farmer. I've been doing that for many, many years, most of my life, because my mom was a big gardener as well. So I grew up doing it. And if you have an issue in your garden, say there's something in the soil that you just can't get rid of, and people use all kinds of chemicals and different things to deal with stuff that comes up in soil issues and tree issues and stuff like that, like the forestry people, and they've started to use fire more too. But if you have an issue in your garden and you really just like, you can't figure out how to deal with it any other way, you light it on fire. Fire kills and burns off everything that is nasty or unhealthy. So it is the ultimate cleanser. Fire, not water, No, 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 not water. Water can be filthy. Well, honestly, right? We all know that. Water can be clean, water can be filthy. Fire is 100% a cleansing element. It is the only element that will clean us completely. Everything will be on fire. And this isn't your typical kind of fire, the fire that we understand it now. This is plasma fire. And so plasma. Plasma is the liquid component in the blood because we're in the body, right? We are the body, in the body, in the body, in the body. And plasma is water, sugar, fat, proteins, salts, and it transports blood cells, nutrients, antibodies, clotting proteins, hormones, stem cells. You name it, it's in the plasma. So when that fire ignites, when that wick lights and the fire comes up and cleanses everything, it also will feed everything. That's why we won't need food there. Because the plasma with all of that I just described that it contains will be fed up through your soul. And look how dirty my foot is. I'm walking around barefoot. I'm going to show you my dirty foot. I'm going to show you my dirty foot. Your soul. This is your soul. And that's why they use that word to tell us that we're spirits and BS like that. Because we very much relate to this word. The emphasis of your soul is it's a very powerful thing. When this fire comes up and we are baptized with this fire, it will come through the soles of your feet. That's how you will eat. That's how you will receive all those nutrients and all those things that make your functions work. It will come up through your soul. And it is only when that wick lights and that fire ignites that you will be a living soul. We will be the living souls when our fire burns. So, is everybody going to be able to have the alchemy within themselves to hold that fire? No. First of all, because this is all biological, there's a couple of things that are going to happen here. There's going to be what I just described about the fire and coming up through your soul and igniting you into a living soul. And there are like the watchers and the people who are running through things here, the transgendered entities that are you know what I'm saying, that are expressing themselves here, the politicians, all those high upper echelon people, they carve themselves up like that and transgender themselves and do as much body modification as they can because they know what needs to happen to them when the fire comes. And honestly, the more altered you are, probably the quicker you will burn up. Okay, so that is what will happen to, like it's stated in the Bible, the wheat and the chaff, the separating of the wheat and the chaff, is that it gets burnt in an unquenchable fire. And it is mercy. It is merciful. It is a merciful way to transmute and to move on to something else. So, and of course, they try to get the regular human population to do all these things too, the transgendering, which people are doing. Good, lovely, wonderful people out there are doing that to themselves because they've been vaccinated with it and they've been talked into this being this other thing. Tattoos and the piercings and the constant mutilation of the body. And not to mention the feasting of flesh and blood. Now, if you have that fire, that wick lights, and that fire comes up, and your body is full of meat and flesh and blood. And when I say blood, I mean dairy. The dairy, the cheeses, and all the dairy and stuff is full of blood and mucus. So you're still taking in the animal's death and murder and mutilation when you're eating dairy. And I understand some people are still going to make that choice. That's up to them. Like I said in my last video, no judgment. No judgment, because I'm going to tell you in a second what's going to happen to those who choose that. And it is just as beautiful as the living souls, okay? So if you have all that junk in your body and you've modified yourself and you've taken on all these poisons, that's because you've decided to participate in the death cycle of the cell. And that's fine. Thank you. The cell had to be eaten. It had to be done. It's okay. It's okay that you made those choices. It's okay you decided to do that. Because what will happen to those who cannot alchemically hold the fire that is coming is that they will burn. They will burst into flames, and from the ashes rise like the phoenix. That's what that's about. The phoenix rising is baptism by fire. You couldn't hold the fire because of the choices you made. And some people know very, very much that they're going to burn in the fire. And they're ready for the fire. Like I said, it's merciful. It's a quick death. I think quicker for some than others, but quick regardless. And so they will burn and rise like the phoenix, go back into the blood, back into the system, circulate through, and be reborn. They will be reborn. Maybe not into this cell, maybe into another cell in the body, maybe back into this cell. If their origin is really here in this cell, they'll come back. They'll be here with us. They will be the ones who can alchemically hold the fire, and there will be those that burn and rise like the phoenix. And if you ask me, both options are okay. They're fine. It's part of the process. There's nothing wrong with either one. And I kind of think they're both exciting, to imagine here's my dirty foot again, to imagine my soul ignited and pulling the fire into my body and being able to hold it and wield it to wend and to waft, as I said in my couple videos ago. Wow. I mean, you are going to be the mothers and the fathers of the new golden age. And I think a lot of these people will be RH negatives, and a lot of them won't. A lot of them will be RH positives whose blood frequency can hold the fire. You guys are out there. You chose not to modify yourself. You've chosen not to, feast in the murder of animals. And you will probably be able to alchemically hold this fire. And then there are those who will have their souls lit, and they will burst into flames from the ashes and rise back up into the system to be reborn into another age. Now, I think it's possible that there are some who could go back into a dying cell somewhere to eat and feast there. And then there are some phoenixes who, look, I'm sweating. I was really nervous to make this video because to me this is one of the most important things I've ever said. So pardon my sweat. But there are some who will be reborn into a golden age, and then there are some who will go back, and probably the watchers, the ones who are ruling here, these guys, they'll go to another dying cell to continue the feast, which is their desire. Like I said in my blood type video this morning, it's fine. We need them. They're essential. They're part of the process. There's nothing going wrong. We never get it wrong and we never get it done. This is how we do. This is how we are. This is who we are. The body, the blood, the unquenchable fire. This is us. This is our plasma coming back in to feed us and to grow and to form our new golden age. So that's why the Bible is like all about, the red to blue world, the baptism by water. It's why we're using glyphs and writing things down, because we're blinded here. And that's why the commandments in the Holy Gospel of 12 tell you to wash your body every day, to eat a clean diet, to not murder anyone, to not steal, do not take lands unto yourself or goods unto yourself beyond your needs. I know an awful lot of people who take lands and goods unto themselves beyond their needs, right? But these are the rules, because when the baptism by fire comes, you're going to want to alchemically hold the fire. So that's why those are the commandments. It's not about limiting you or judgment and stuff like that. It's about, do you want to be a holder of the fire, or do you want to be the phoenix rising? You know, and you still get to choose right now. We're still in the dying cell. You know, if you're hearing this information and you're ignited by it, and you're like, well, I want to hold the fire, make different choices. Choose to look at the Holy Gospel of 12 rules and learn to live by them. And I will put them in the description below so that you can read them again if you want. I've been living by them for the last 6 months, more than any other point in my life. And it's a big deal. I'm better. Like, I'm stronger. I'm cleaner. I'm happier. I feel closer to the understanding of myself and who I am and who you are. I'm more in my heart, you know, because I understand my biology more. I let my body rest. I keep my body clean. I eat clean. I honor. So one of them is to honor the creative mother and father force. To honor it. What does that mean? It means that you're honoring life. It's how we all get here. It's through the mother and the father. And the mother is the portal. And the father is the dynamic energy. And you can't leave either one of them out. But your mother is closer. Isn't she? She's closer. She pulled you to her breast. You came from her body. She's your mother. The father is always a little further away. It's a little bit distant. Yet he protects and he cherishes in his own ways. So these are very important elements to honor, because that is what life is. And we play the roles of mother and father and child, Holy Trinity, right? This is who we are. So when we go into this red world, when the fire ignites our living soul, and we live in that golden age, there's no need for language. It's all telepathic, probably music frequency communication too that we don't really understand here, we don't know about. And so, yeah, we're not writing it down, and we're not keeping track of it. And really, you can't, because in the blue world, when you go into the death cycle, you're supposed to be blinded here. Otherwise, they couldn't quite accomplish what they need to accomplish to feast and eat it all. People would be a lot less cooperative with that if they knew everything. So nothing gets recorded in these golden ages. There's residue of it. Obviously, we have an awareness of it. We hold the awareness of it in our bodies, so we know, but it's just not, it's not glyphs and paper, and it's not done that way. So that is why it is so hidden. And that is why here in the blue world, it's all about the gods and God and all this stuff outside of yourself, because that's who's here eating the cell and sort of tricking you into worshiping them. They want the worship because they eat it. They're not just eating, like, it's not just the logging and the mining and the eating of the actual cell. You know, you are that as well. So, you know, people call it luge. They're eating you. They're eating you alive. They're taking all your energy and you're eating it. Like, money's a really great example of that. You take all this human energy that you have and you go out and make money with it. And all the money gets fed back to them. We know this. I mean, no matter what you do, you try as you might, the money gets fed back to those guys. It's their right. It's their right to eat like that and to eat you alive. You know, I used to have these nightmares in my early 20s about being eaten alive, and I didn't understand it. I didn't know, how are they doing that? I would wake up sweating and terrified. They're eating us alive. And now I get it. And I feel calm about it because I understand that it's part of the cycle. And now I understand what's coming is baptism by fire. So there isn't going to be a mud flood. There isn't going to be a plasma event as described by Who's or Whatter or anybody else on YouTube who's trying to sell you fear. The mud flood stuff, super fear-based. And I kept thinking to myself, like, why is YouTube like promoting this so much? Why are they letting everybody like get so deep into this mud flood information? Because you can see that it's true. You can observe that it's true. Like Philip Drizinin and Mud and Jason and Conspiracies Are Us and this all it's great. They prove it. It's true. Without a doubt. Is it what's coming? No. And then, Who's or Whatter's trying to make all this money off of your fear by telling you that that's what's coming. No, my loves, we are going to be baptized by fire. And it is going to be amazing. And you are either going to hold that fire and bring it through, or you will rise like the phoenix and be reborn. And there is no other, I think there's a different option for the watchers or whatever. But that's what's going to happen. It's actually really simple. I didn't know how long this would take me to explain. But it feels simple and short. So, and I think that's about it. A living soul on fire or a phoenix rising. So your choices matter. What you take into your body, what you do with your life, how you show up to others. Murdering taints your blood. Taking more than what you have a right to take taints your blood, changes your frequency. Okay? So every choice you make will be part of your outcome when the fire comes, when the wick lights and the fire comes up. So you can change it today. You can decide right now that you want to change it, or you can decide to become the most beautiful phoenix rising that's ever been seen. The choice is yours, and I support whatever choice that you decide to make. I myself don't choose murder. I myself don't choose to steal or take what isn't mine or participate in that. And we all have flaws. We all have moments where we did the wrong thing. But just be sorry and move on. And when the choice comes back around, make the opposite choice. You have the opportunity every moment of your life. These choices come up every day. So it's never too late to choose something different. And I put out a blood video this morning about our blood types merging when this happens into that figure 8, that we will come together in the blood here to create, and paradise will come after the fire. The fire is going to burn it all up. And you know what? After the fire burns and the phoenix rises and you have alchemically held the fire, and alchemically holding the fire means you're going to be transmuting any leftover poisons that were in your body. So there are some living souls who will, when they receive the fire, that's going to be the harder choice. Isn't it just always that way? That will be the harder choice in the sense because the phoenix rising, they're going to burn up and fly off. But the living soul who has to hold the fire then has to transmute everything within their body that doesn't match the fire. And that will involve some pain. And there may be a struggle for some. There may be some that almost hold the fire and in the end they can't. So if you choose that path, just know that it's the stronger path in a way. And this go around, it's the one that might hurt more. Okay. And it reminds me of this study I once read. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. They did this light therapy with copperhead snakes, which have venom in their bodies. And they did this red gold light therapy on them, and the snake after a while actually transmuted the venom, and the venom disappeared from their body. Okay, so it'll be like that. So whatever is left in you it is not a match, it will burn up, and you will endure that. And then you're going to get past that point, and we're going to be in a golden age, and all those things that I described that the plasma holds, all the sugars and the hormones and the proteins and all that stuff, when it comes up, the growth cycle is going to start. I mean, it's going to be rapid. Things are going to burst into life. Woo! Burst into life. We're going to burst into life. And it's going to go into that growth cycle, and the trees are going to explode, and nature's going to explode, and the animals are going to be free. They're going to be free, and they're going to feel good in their bodies, like we will end up feeling good in ours. Because they'll hold the fire. They'll hold the alchemy as well. So there's a choice every day to be one or to be the other. And so the baptism by fire is truth. It is love. It is growth. And it is going to cleanse and nourish everything here. It has to be fire. It's fire. It's not going to be water. And the living souls will, and the animals will come together. I, who was born to die, shall live, so that the world of men and the world of animals will come together. I shall live. That's from the Inuit legend that I read in a prior video, and that is what it is referencing, is baptism by fire. So this to me is the plasma truth. This to me is what's coming. You are safe no matter where you live in the world. You have nothing to fear. If something is fear-based, just take what seems relevant and leave the rest. That is the water world. We're going to live in the fire world, the red and gold world. It is fire. And it is going to be magnificent. And I really, really hope to see you guys there. So I just want to say reassuring things, that this is going to be really great. This is going to be positive. And okay, let me say this too, because a lot of people on YouTube found me through me calling out who's or nut. And so I want to say to all of them that if this resonates with you, please share it with other people. I don't mind if someone steals this from me and goes off and runs with it. I don't care. Take it. Tell everybody. Get it out there. Because the people peddling fear to us need to be exposed. And and I could have never achieved this knowledge without having first believed who's or not. It is through my process of allowing that to come into me in my mind and in my heart that I was able to transmute it into the truth. So I'm grateful for everything that happened. I don't hold anything against any of that. I don't sit in anger. I'm not mad. I'm not vengeful. I'm honest and I'm truthful. Like some of my wonderful commenters said, most people who get scammed walk away in shame with their head tucked. But here you were and admitting you were scammed. Well, beyond admitting I was scammed, I'm going to let you know that through being scammed, I found the truth. And to me, this is probably just the beginning of finding this truth of baptism by fire. But truth usually is simple. Like, I love you. Or, yes. Or, be well. You know, the truth is, it doesn't take a lot of words to express the truth. So, if someone needs, like, months and months of time to explain to you all the complexity of the things that are going to happen, and there's a lot of complexity to it, sort of like math. It's not true. It's a bunch of blip, 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 blip. Look over here. Don't look at the man behind the curtain. Distraction-oriented stuff. You know when you hear the truth, and it is simple and not hard to understand. I'm also going to attach a video in the description about the moon. There's people ask me about the moon a lot and Brian's model, and someone's, oh, I just said his name. Who's your nuts model? Oh well. They're always asking me about the moon. So one thing that he had right was the sun and the plasma. That's how he got you in there. And I'm not a joiner. I'm a non-joiner. Can't believe that fucker got me. So everyone's always asking about the moon. So there is a guy who did a video about the moon, and I still think it is the most accurate knowledge that I've ever seen about the moon. And I am going to attach it to this video just for your own speculation, because I do believe the moon is a reflection of our cell. It's just about optics and the lens and a reflection and a time delay. So I want to attach that for you guys. I think it very simply explains what we're seeing in our sky with the moon, and why it has phases, and why the face of it changes, and why it is so consistent. And it really explains it really well. So while yes, there are other cells and stuff out there, I think the moon isn't one of them. I think it's like a mirror magic kind of a thing. So I'm going to attach that below. I'm going to attach the 12 rules from the Holy Gospel of 12. And I really, really hope that this resonated with you guys, and that you got as much out of this tidbit as I have. And I look forward to burning in the fire with you, and waking up each day before that happens, and doing my very best to make the right choices here for me and for what my goals are. And I hope that you do the same. And I love you guys.